Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Wingate Solutions. I hope you're doing well. This is a little bit of a follow-up video to my last one where I talked about the patrol rifle concept. Being that I'm in law enforcement, patrol rifle concept or term is just a general terminology for rifles in our line of work. For most applications, we're going to call them the patrol rifle. Generally, it's some flavor of an AR-15. Usually, it's going to have an optic, a light, and a sling on it. And other than that, it's going to be pretty simple. For most guys, unless you're in a specialty unit where you're running nods all the time, you might have a laser aiming module, you might have some other features on it. But in general, I recommend keeping your gun simple, especially when it's a defensive oriented rifle for active shooter response or things that you need to deploy a rifle for quickly to stop bad people from hurting good people. I recommend, again, simple. I can't overstate that because a lot of guys want all the complexity plus the kitchen sink when it comes to running the rifle because they want to have all the what ifs covered, and that does create problems. Now, before I get into that a little bit, you guys know, if you watch the channel for a little bit, I'm a huge fan of scoped rifles. I like more precision oriented rifles. Usually has magnification like 2.5 to 10s or 4 to 16s. They're usually something I like to run on a red dot on my rifle with like a piggyback red dot. Very like solid setup that I can get a lot done with, but it's very special purpose driven. And even though it adds a lot of capability, it adds a lot of complexity. So there's a reason why when I have my standard patrol rifle type loadout, I don't have all of those bells and whistles. Like you see on this, I don't have a light cap on the front. I don't have any scope caps on this optic at all. I don't have anything extra that I need to deploy or add as part of my process in the moment. Like, I want my process for deploying this to be as simple as possible. And that's what I recommend. I stow my sling in the vehicle. Shameless plug. I have a sling company. Go check them out if you're in need of a sling. If you already have your company that you like to support, just stick with them. I'm not trying to steal their business. I'm just giving another option for guys. But I do offer a sling retention strap. That's how I stow my slings on my rifles. So when I deploy it out of the car, it is not going to get snagged on anything. It's important to me. I want simple, right? So I already have my red dot or my optics set up the way I want to before shift. I already have any type of caps or anything off the light. The only thing I need to do is rack around, swim into the sling if I have time, and if I have time, confirm that the dot is on. Other than that, it is ready to go. Safety's already on. I don't have to worry about that. Everything's good to go. I want a simple process. If you don't have a process on how you actually deploy something like this, you need to, and it needs to be the same every time to the point where you can't get it wrong. Okay, so I recommend simple and then consistent. Make sure you're actually doing it. That's my advice for you guys, just for how to run one of these. And then obviously learn to actually manipulate the rifle. There's too many guys out there that have rifles and don't truly know how to run them. Find a competent trainer, ask people, learn how to run these through repetition and good quality instruction. I can't overstate that. Make sure you guys are actually learning how to run these things. They're not just going to, win the day for you. You need to be the one to deploy it correctly, actually make good decisions and be accountable, and know how to use this so you don't become more of a liability. You want to be an asset. Okay. So anyway, I'll get off that soapbox. So the thing I want to mainly talk about, though, is that complexity and capability type of thing. So this is just simple patrol rifle. I put the thing on the thing, I press the thing, right? That's kind of like a joke we use when we talk about red dots. It's just simple. I want to be able to stay target focused. I want to be accountable, make a good decision, and then make a good hit, right? Make good hits faster than the person that's trying to kill me. That's what I want. And I want to be accountable, and I want to be able to have a positive idea of the things that are trying to hurt me. So that's important. I just want simple, right? That's kind of what I build most of my rifles to do when it comes to being that defensive, like active shooter response type rifle. So that's that. So I'm going to show you guys real quick that are used to my channel. This is another rifle, and it's actually kind of one of my patrol rifles, but it's more of a special purpose patrol rifle for me that has a lot more capability. And that's kind of debatable, right? Because you could argue that a very simple rifle has more capability, because again, it comes back down to the shooter, and it's also based on a simple platform that, like, kind of like the idea of the guy that has one rifle is probably going to be really well trained on that one rifle. Someone that has 14 different setups and only trains a little bit on each one, probably not as capable, right? So that's why it kind of depends who you ask, but I'm going to use the mindset of this being more capable because it has more features that can allow me this thing to fill different roles, but it's more complex, right? So I have a can on the end of it. That's cool. It allows me to maybe keep a little bit more situational awareness and have a little bit less of a signature. Even though this is a Dead Air Sandman K, they're not really that good at taming signature. But this one's not too bad with the Flash Hider 5.56 end cap. But anyway, and if you guys are interested in this, unfortunately, I think I got in for the last batch of Echo Machine doing the conversions to cans. So I got the chemo removed and the chemo removed, and now I have a Atlas Plan B mount on the rear so I can run reared and muzzle devices. I will let you know if I find another company that's doing conversions, because I think it's a cool option for guys that have older cans. Unfortunately, Echo Machine is no longer doing them right now, so a little bit of a tease. I apologize for that. But having that can allows me to have a little more capability. The conduit then is it's a little more complex. It does interfere with the gas system. It's going to make it run a little dirtier unless you have it tuned specifically to that can. So now we have one more thing that's complex, right? It also adds a lot of weight and length to the gun. So it's not going to be quite as maneuverable. So pros and cons to everything, right? This one, I also have a cap on the light. Again, that's cool if I prioritize not having the signature of having the light in the front, whether or not I have an ND of the light and or if there's reflection off the front, if I'm in a position where I don't want someone to see that I have this rifle. Again, pros and cons. For LE, I think this is something that's overrated. I just have it on here from doing a lot of testing, and honestly, it's not something I feel the need, because it does add that complexity, right? If I'm very switched on and I understand and have a process to everything, and I have time, I can ensure that this thing is in the position I need it before I use this rifle. But it is one more thing that potentially could get in the way, like have it be on and then need to illuminate some kind of threat at night and have an uh-oh moment where my light doesn't actually activate because it's covered, right? So that's that complexity of we're talking about. Same thing with optic setup on this. I absolutely love 2.5 to 10 type optics with piggyback red dots. Heavy, complex, but it does allow me to be very capable. I like the heads up of the 1X red dot on there. It's just kind of perfect for me, my usage, and I really like having a magnified optic. I like reaching out and touching things. I like precision oriented rifles. So for me, I might be able to actually make this be more capable because it's purpose driven for me. For like the average guy that's going to be out on patrol, or the average guy that has an active shooter type rifle, active shooter response rifle, I'm not going to want to have all this complexity, right? Because again, I just want to put the thing on the thing and press the thing. I want to have less things to think about so that I have more things to think about, like what's actually downrange and making good decisions, rather than having to worry about complexities here and or things that could be off and or not allow me to perform the way I want to, right? So anything that could just get in the way of me doing what I need to do. Again, scope caps. Really cool for this type of rifle, specifically if I'm carrying this thing in the woods a lot, using it for more like homestead defense or critter response type stuff. I like having the caps because if I'm outside in the woods or out on the property and it's raining or snowing, it's nice just having the glass stay a little cleaner. But it adds that complexity of now it's something that I need to, again, have a process to make sure I have it on or off when the time comes. So it's just something to think about for you guys. And I want you to start thinking about that, especially when you're setting up your home defense rifle or your rifle that you're intending to use for work or for that active shooter response. Think simple and think kind of bulletproof ruggedness and reliability, and then train on it. Don't forget to actually be the expert of that platform. You need to be constantly training and learning. Definitely get quality instruction on running rifles. Now, this is, again, very capable. I absolutely would take this tomorrow and run this as a patrol rifle, depending on the context, right? My context is I'm in a very rural county now. Most of my career, I was in a city, urban environment where this would have been very impractical for me to be running around city blocks or city row homes with, because it adds that extra length, weight, and the chances of me needing to use like 10 power in the city is a lot more foreign of a concept, even though it does happen from more of like a SWAT sniper perspective. But even then, most of the time, you don't need this much capability in the city. Again, you can get lost in the weeds on the what ifs. That's something for another day to talk about more. But being out in the rural environment now, I do have more of a need for something that can reach out and touch a little more and can PID, positively identify at distance. So I like having something like this, and it's still in the flavor of 5.56 that my other guys are going to be using. So there's that commonality, and it's already the like rifle mags that I'm going to have on my kit. It just becomes a little bit of a force multiplier, situationally dependent, right? But this isn't how I'm going to want to set up my agency's patrol rifles for all my guys to run around with. Because let's be honest, the average guy doesn't put the time in to truly be like an expert at what they have equipment wise in front of them. So keeping it a little simpler is just better all around. Anyway, I didn't want to get too wordy on that. Hopefully it kind of made sense to some of you guys. Maybe you will put some of this thought process into practice in the future, especially if you're thinking of setting up like an active shooter response type rig, which I'm all about. I think it's awesome. I think we need to have more prepared, ready to go citizens out there that want to do, the Lord's work, want to actually stop evil, stop bad people from doing bad things to good people. Just understand the risks and understand your state laws and local laws as well, even though they're infringements when it comes to like how these things are stored in vehicles, things like that. Like I said, I don't agree with any of it. Unfortunately, we have a long way to go before we can fix some of those, especially in some of the states you guys live in that are behind enemy lines. But understand those laws just so that you don't unnecessarily do something that's going to get you in trouble, especially if you intend to use these things for the right reasons. But like I said, a lot of risk involved, especially being in plain clothes or like civilian attire or off-duty attire or just general clothes that you would wear if you were out with the kids. There's a lot of risk involved with deploying a patrol type rifle. So things to think about, but I still do think it is important for us to have the capability. I think that's what separates us from the other countries in the world is our citizenry being willing to step up and do hard things in response to bad people. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you. If you like this content, please consider subscribing, hitting that thumbs up button, share it with your buddies if you think it's something they'd be into, and comment down below. I really enjoy your feedback. And I'm going to try to get more content out for you guys. So if you have anything specifically that I can make for you, let me know, please. And if you want to check out the website, go over there, link down in the description, wingatesolutions.llc.com. We have our slings, our sling retention straps, holster leg straps, got some other cool things that we're kind of working on, but to be honest, I'm just busy working full time right now for work. So it'll be a little bit till I get anything new up on the website. But you still can go over there and check it out. I appreciate the support. And you can check out our Instagram at Wingate Solutions over there too. I'll try to put some things up from on there for a little bit too. I know I've been slacking like crazy, but I'm excited to get back into this. Hopefully a few videos in, I'll get a flow again. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you. Till next time, get out and train.